Meeting. We're going to begin with the caucus. First, we would like to welcome Marquita Body, Executive Director of Summit County Continuum of Care, will present council and provide information on the agency.
Madam President, if I might.
Yes.
So I wanted Ms. Body to join us today because the work that they are doing, especially around the unhoused, was something that I think the full council and those that are watching should understand. And I know a lot of the discussion that we're having today around government has been around gun violence, given what was happening in Akron. I think this is systemic. I think understanding the unhoused, I think understanding gun violence, I think understanding all of it is super important for us as a community to understand how we can support our community, how we can uplift our community, and how we can provide them with the resources and the tools that they need, the support that they need in order to live the lives that they want to live. So it was really important for me, after having an opportunity to meet Ms. Body, to have her come before this body. No pun intended.
Thank you very, very much. Good afternoon. Again, I'm Marquita Body, the Executive Director of the Summit County Continuum of Care. The Continuum of Care has been in existence for over 20 years, but I became the COC manager in 2017. I then founded the COC as a nonprofit in 2018. So the Continuum of Care is a HUD-mandated entity that oversees all the homelessness dollars within their local entitlement community. So in the state of Ohio, there are 8 Continuum of Cares: Columbus, Akron, Cleveland, kind of like that, right? And our Continuum of Care receives about $8.5 million to provide housing and services to those who are experiencing homelessness. We also fund what is called the Coordinated Entry System. Coordinated Entry is the system that we utilize for individuals who are experiencing homelessness. So if you are experiencing homelessness, you call the homeless hotline, you speak to a housing specialist, we do an assessment, and then you're referred to the most appropriate program based on your needs. We currently have 31 programs that we operate. We also oversee the Homeless Management Information System, which is called HMIS, and that is where we collect all of our data for individuals experiencing homelessness from the time they contact that homeless hotline until they are housed and out of that system. We have seen a huge uptick in homelessness over the last few years, especially unsheltered homelessness. We have a limited capacity within our shelter systems, and we have seen a huge wait list with our shelter homelessness as well. We have seen a 33% in first-time homelessness this year. So people that are experiencing for the very first time homelessness is 1/3 of the population that we're seeing this year. During the pandemic, we had some really great opportunities to do some really great things because of the additional funding that we received. We received funding for additional beds in the community, additional shelter in the community. We also were able to run some programs like landlord mitigation. Landlord mitigation program was a program where we incentivized landlords who were willing to work with this population up to 3 months of the rent up front to ensure that if they had any damages to their units, that they had some funding kind of in reserve to take care of those damages, and also just kind of an incentive just to, bring them on board and possibly provide additional units once they seen that the program was really, really successful. In return, all we asked the landlords to do was to ensure that they would not evict, or if they had an issue with the tenant, to come to us and talk to us to see if we can mediate the situation. And if the situation could not be mediated, then we would move that person out and then move someone else in. We had a lot of success with that program. We housed over 300 individuals and families. We reduced the length of time homelessness. We reduced times that individuals had to look for housing because we had a stock available. We've seen some reduction in evictions when we had that program. And so it was really a robust program and helped a lot of those that are experiencing homelessness. As you all know, we have high eviction rates. And there's just a lot of barriers that are in our current system that prevents people from getting access to housing and services. The dollars that we currently receive only serve those who are Category 1 homeless, meaning that you have to be in a shelter or a place not meant for human habitation. So in the event that you are just getting ready to be evicted because you don't have rent, or you're behind or in arrears, there is no funding available currently outside of the TANF dollars, which requires you to have children, small children, that prevents you from becoming homeless, which then further impacts our homelessness systems and put more people into our shelters, which we don't have enough shelter beds as is. So we have a very, we're in a crisis pretty much right now when it comes to homelessness. And I know that the county, there's allocations for the city of Akron and for Barberton and for Cuyahoga Falls, but I think there's some unique opportunities that we could possibly explore when it comes to the county as far as looking at areas of opportunities for us to start moving those who are experiencing homelessness or in a housing crisis outside of that Akron area to kind of disperse or not have so much saturation in the city of Akron with the homelessness population, and also just providing opportunities for those families to have a better life, better quality of life in a different area, something new, something exposed to something new. So there's a lot going on. I wanted to try to get as much in as I could because I know I have a limited amount of time. I did bring the reports for 2023 that also has some 2024 data in it so that you all can see it. This has not even been released yet, but it will be released at the end of this week. And now I'll open it up for questions.
Yes.
For members of council, the COC is a critical part of the whole homeless initiative in the county. Family Promise certainly participates heavily with the COC, but prior to Marquetta coming in as the director of that, the COC was pretty much a management by committee. And great credit goes to Marquetta and all the work that she and her staff have done in coordinating those efforts. The homeless hotline is one of the biggest helps that we have because anyone who's in need of shelter contacts the homeless hotline, and then that tracks them all the way through the system. So it allows the county to have a real crystal clear snapshot of what's happening in the county. Prior to that, it was catch as catch can. Folks would call whoever, and then it was passed on. But one of the important things about the COC and the hotline is they are able to help folks as they're coming into the system to identify just what their crisis is. Not everybody has to go to a shelter. They can, through resources they don't even know are available to them, the hotline helps them through that initial intake, the initial impact of the crisis. So the COC is very, very much an important part of what we're doing countywide to address the issue of homelessness.
Thank you.
Where do you get the homes, or do you get a hold of landlords in the area and ask them if they'd want to be part of the program, or how does this work?
Yeah, so what we did is we did a lot of marketing around the programming when we first launched it. We already have a lot of landlords that are familiar with the work we do in the community, like Family Promise has. I'm sure a lot of landlords they already work with. But we wanted to recruit and engage new landlords just because the housing shortage that we currently have, especially for affordable housing, it takes a long time to build that. So we know that working with private landlords is going to be crucial to this process. And what we've learned is that landlords have kind of a distrust in the system for a lot of different reasons. But, working with this population, we've seen some units get damaged and landlords be stuck with the bill. We know CARES funding, landlords were waiting on funding for it to be paid, and there was arrears, and there was so many different things. So this program has been really great because they work directly with the CLC. We have someone in our office who's actually a realtor, so he understands both the property management, landlord side of things, and then we have the case management side of things as well. And, we really can speak the language with the landlords and just ensuring that they're getting paid, because that's really what it's all about. They're in the business. And so, yes, we go out and recruit and engage with landlords, and once we get them signed up and they see how successful the program is, they traditionally come back. And so it was really, really a great opportunity, but those dollars have now gone away. And so we do have some landlords that still work with us, but it's not as easy as it was before.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
could you talk a little bit about the case management because I thought that was one of the unique features of the program that you guys provide with respect to the landlord mitigation process?
Absolutely. So all clients that go through our programs are also connected with the case manager that provides wraparound services. So not only are we assisting you with your rent, but you're also connected to a case manager to get assistance with employment. If you have any criminal issues that you need assistance with, daycare, transportation, we're here to pretty much assist you with all your needs, because we do know that housing is just kind of that first step, right? Getting sustained and getting stable. But then once you get into that housing, what else do you need? What other wraparound services do you provide? And that's been really, really helpful for the landlords as well, because they always want to know what skin do they have in the game? What are they bringing to the table? And so it's been a really great success. And then the landlords being able to have contact with somebody to say, hey, I'm having these issues. I need some help with such and such, and us being able to do that.
Can I ask, sorry, besides, after you get through that housing process and you are working on those other needs, what tends to be the top few things that people need in addition to housing?
Well, definitely employment. That's huge. I think almost, if not 90% of the people that come into our system don't have a job or don't have any source of income. There's been a lot of need for mental health services, substance abuse services, so we know that's really, really high right now. I would say those are the top three at this point in time. Yeah.
Hi, good evening. I don't want to make an assumption, but are you working with Unitas program with the county to help coordinate those services as well?
Yeah, so we are working on getting that implemented into our systems as well. Because we have all the different partner agencies, of course, they will have to sign on. We probably have to do like an MOU or something like that to get that really up and running, but we've been having discussions around that as well.
Fantastic. And then the other question I have is, do you work with the, like the Akron Municipal Court housing?
We do.
program
We
as
work
well?
closely with Viron Finney, who just recently got hired, so yes. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to leave these here.
There are three motions tonight. M04822024, Ian Johnson will address council.
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Thanks for having me. I'm Ian Johnson, Vice President of Economic and Industrial Development for Omnitrax. We're one of the largest short line railroad holding companies in the United States, based out of Denver. I'm based here in Akron. I actually live in Bath. We relocated, my family and I, we relocated back to Akron about 4 years ago now from the Dallas area. Born and raised in Akron. My wife's born and raised in Akron. We wanted our 5-year-old now son to have that same experience we had of being born and raised in Akron. And when I got back, one of the things I was very passionate about was finding a way to use my culmination of over 17 years of economic development experience in helping the community. I've done local, federal, regional, and now private sector economic development, also economic development finance efforts. So by being connected to people who then connected me to some great people who connect me to more great people, which is kind of the Akron and Northeast Ohio way, I found my way to the Development Finance Authority and had some great meetings with Chris and his team about what they do and my background, and it seemed like a great synergy. So I asked to help out any way I could, and we kind of came to, maybe my service to the board would be something that benefits the Development Finance Authority and benefits myself. So hopefully you guys vote in the motion to put me on the board, and I'm excited about the opportunity.
Well, thank you. Are there any questions? No?
Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys.
Next is M04922024, Georgette Thomas will address council.
I'm Georgette Thomas. I am the founder of an animal welfare organization called Pay It Forward for Pets. I've enjoyed a 10-plus year positive relationship with Summit County Animal Control, and I am here as a potential replacement for Francis Klein, who sat on the Humane Commission, and they've asked me to come forward to see if I obtain approval to sit in her place as she steps off.
Thank you. Questions?
I'll just add while Greta turns her mic on, thank you, Georgette. It seems like there's no role you won't offer to serve in, and we're really grateful because you do such a wonderful job.
Thank you
So.
for that.
I just wanted to let the members of council know that Georgette is responsible for the programs, the information I sent to council members about the Pets for Vets and the Senior Pet Program.
Questions?
Is there any further questions? No? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
There are 24 first readings. There are 3 first reading passage requests. 2024162, Joe Eckenrod will address council. Eckenrode? Nope, up.
Not Joe Eckenrode.
Holly Miller, Department of
Hi,
Community and Economic Development. Joe had to take today off, so I said I would fill in his spot. This is a piece of legislation for us to enter into a contract with OHM Advisors to do the inspection services for the conduit and fiber that is being run out to the Ohio Means Job Center for the Board of Elections. They're already a company that has the design services, and this has to come in front of you because the aggregate then would push it over $75,000. So they will do the inspection services all the way to the DMARC location inside the building. Happy to answer any questions.
Holly, this coming to Ohio Means Jobs,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be, Brian, it's going to be coming up Talmadge Avenue.
No. Mm-mm. It's going to come down Stonegate so that we don't have to cut across Talmadge Avenue and do open cut. So it's going to come into the side of the building, and then it's going to come into the server room, and then it'll also feed OMJ.
Will folks along the line now be able to tap in, or is that still a little ways away?
That's a ways away. Do you want to answer, Brian? Because he's looking at you, but I'm talking, so you answer.
We may have some announcements surrounding the possibility of that a little bit later this year.
No more questions, Jeff, no more.
Are there any further comments?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. 2024163, Liz, are you okay with that one too? Yeah. Okay. 2024163, Sarah Bucci-Gross will address council.
Good evening, Sarah Butchie-Gross, Department of Finance and Budget. On tonight's appropriation, we have a lot of Board of Elections stuff. That's the most of it. So first up is the Special Revenue Fund. This was approved by the Board of Elections Board back in May for their electronic poll books. The next is a change order with Lakeland Electric, which was previously approved by Council. The next three are contracts for the Board of Elections headquarters. These were all approved at Board of Control. The next item, we move over to the Department of Public Safety. This is just moving appropriations from salaries over into contract services. And then we have the VAWA grant for 2024. Happy to answer any questions.
Is there any further questions? No?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. 2024185, Brian Nelson will address council.
Yeah, so this one, the necessity for first reading, it really lies with me. It's been sitting on my desk for a while. MCM Consulting they were the major consultant that did most of the work for us on the dispatch project in 2022 when we began work on the county's fiber ring and data center projects. We put out an RFP. They submitted a proposal and were selected as the best consultant to provide advisory services on both the design and build work for the data center along with the fiber ring. At that time, we weren't completely sure what with the data center in particular was going to end up, whether that was a feasible project or not in the form that we were proposing it. We also weren't completely sure what we were getting into with the data center. The proposal they submitted addressing everything we put in the request for proposals totaled $2,824,333.48. We took that proposed contract to Board of Control, got it approved. We then elected to only bring to Council Resolution 2022-361 for $506,162.50 to essentially get started with the first year's worth of work so we could kind of get our feet under us and figure out where we were going with all this. That money that initial proposal ended up lasting more than a year. Earlier, or back in April, we had submitted a resolution and there was a mistake in here, but a resolution was submitted for the entire $2.8 million because we had run out of money and somebody realized we had never submitted the $2.8 million. We saw that, we withdrew it. And then I said to Holly and others on our team, we got to sit down and figure out like where we're at with what we've done and what's left on this contract with them. Well, then it sat on my desk. And so in the meantime, they've continued to work for us. After meeting with MCM, going through everything, $442,945.23 is what we estimate is needed to pay the bills that are currently outstanding, along with providing us sufficient dollars to get through this current phase of the project, which takes us all the way through the delivery of bid documents and the award of bid documents on the fiber ring and the procurement, and you're going to hear a little more about this in the next 2 weeks of what the data center project will look like. But this, we believe that will get us through MCM's role in this project, bringing the total, rather than $2.8 million as originally envisioned, to $949,107.73 as their scope within this project dating back to 2022. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? No. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. There are no late filings. We have routine legislation found on pages 8 through 10. There are no second readings. There are no third readings. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman John Schmidt, with a moment of silence. And may we have a moment of silence for the victims and the family and the residents and the safety forces of the city of Akron, please? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Hyam,
Here.
Mr. Donofrio, Mr. DeVitas,
Here.
Ms. Dickinson,
Here.
Mr. Ford,
Here.
Mr. Wilhite,
Here.
Ms. Darrell,
Here.
Ms. Rogers, Ms. McKinney,
Here.
Ms. Walters.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 13th, 2024 and May 20th, 2024?
So moved.
I have a motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motions for council, M0472024. A motion of council confirming the appointment of Captain Dan Garrett, replacing Deputy Chief Mark Ozemick as alternate to District Chief Chris Karakis to the Child Fatality Review Board.
I have a motion on M0472024. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
M0482024, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Ian Johnson, replacing Tracy Dowell to the Development Finance Authority Board.
I have a motion on M0482024. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
M0492024, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Georgette Thomas, replacing Francis Klein to the Humane Commission.
So moved.
I have a motion on M0492024. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
First readings, 2024162, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with OHM Advisors as a best practical source for construction inspection services for fiber to 1040 East Talmadge Avenue, located in the city of Akron in Council District 2, for an amount not to exceed $49,410 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services Physical Plants Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2024-162.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2024-162 on the suspension. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
2024-163, a resolution appropriating funds in order to meet projected expenditures for the balance of 2024 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget emergency.
Madam President, move to suspend the rules and adopt 2024-163.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2024-163. On the suspension, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
2024-185, a resolution authorizing the
Okay.
2024-164, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Pavement Technology Incorporated for the 2024 Summit County Regional Asphalt Rejuvenating Program in an amount not to exceed $161,049.97 for the engineer emergency. 2024-165, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Burgess & Nyepel, LLC, for design services for the rehabilitation of the Wheatley Road Bridge over Riding Run located in Richfield Township and Council District 5 in an amount not to exceed $121,223 for the engineer emergency. 2024-166, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for a purchase contract for sanitary sewer utility billing services for a 2-year term for an estimated total cost not to exceed $300,000 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services emergency. 2024-167, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the construction of Project Q536 Copley Road Sanitary Sewer Infrastructure Improvements for an estimated total cost not to exceed $561,890 for Phase 1 and for an estimated total cost not to exceed $468,481.25 for Phase 1A alternate located in Copley Township in Council District 5 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services emergency. 2024-168, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the construction of Project Q960 Pump Station Number 30 replacement for an estimated total cost not to exceed $7 million and to authorize the executive to apply for and execute a water pollution control loan fund agreement for a loan in an amount not to exceed $7 million to fund the project located in the City of Greene in Council District 8 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services emergency. 2024-169, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute any documents necessary to accept the award from the Ohio Department of Public Safety's Office of Criminal Justice Services of a Drug Law Enforcement Fund grant in the amount of $136,875.73 with a 25% local cash match requirement of $45,625.24 for a project total of $182,500.97 for the period 7/1/24 through 6/30/25 for the sheriff emergency. 2024-170, a resolution authorizing the county to enter into a contract with the Summit County Children's Services for policing and after-hours call answering services to be performed by the sheriff's office for the period 7/1/24 through 6/30/25 in an amount not to exceed $181,185.64 for the executive and the sheriff emergency. 2024-171, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control, subject to the approval of the Information Technology Board, of a professional service contract with Tyler Technologies Incorporated as a best practical source for the case management system at the jail for a 1-year term for the period of 7/1/24 to 6/30/25 and in an amount not to exceed $259,905.50 for the Office of Information Technology and Sheriff emergency. 2024-172, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute intergovernmental agreements with 12 local law enforcement agencies to provide divergent services to unruly and misdemeanor youth within their respective jurisdictions to prevent an official referral to the Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Division for the period 7/1/24 through 6/30/25 in a total amount not to exceed $202,000 for the Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Division emergency. 2024-173, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with the Ohio Desk Company at state term pricing for new office furniture for the Psychodiagnostic Clinic for a total amount not to exceed $140,349.26 for the Court of Common Pleas emergency. 2024-174, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Greenleaf Family Center as a best practical source to provide assessments to identify court-involved individuals who may require enhanced programs or services for the period 7/1/24 through 6/30/25 in an amount not to exceed $189,900 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety emergency. 2024-175, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of the First Amendment and renewal with Fairline Gig as a best practical source to provide computer-aided dispatch network, data storage, and backup services for the amended first renewal period of 7/1/24 through 12/31/28 in an amount not to exceed $362,664 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety emergency. 2024-176, a resolution submitting to the electors of the County of Summit at the November 5, 2024 general election a proposed charter amendment as recommended by the 2023 through 2024 Charter Review Commission to amend Article 5, Section 5.10 to add the clarifying term charter, add aunt and uncle to familiar relations, and remove the salary limit for the County Charter Review Commission emergency. 2024-177, a resolution submitting to the electors of the County of Summit at the November 5, 2024 general election a proposed charter amendment as recommended by the 2023 through 2024 Charter Review Commission to amend Article 2, Section 2.038C to require yearly submissions of estimated revenues and proposed expenditures by each county department, office, agency, authority, board, and commission for the County Charter Review Commission emergency. 2024-178, a resolution declaring the day of August 24, 2024 as Summit County Pride Day, encouraging residents to celebrate and support the LGBTQ+ community and the Akron Pride Festival and Equity March for the executive emergency. 2024-179, a resolution declaring August 31st, 2024 Overdose Awareness Day in Summit County, raising awareness of the opioid epidemic and asking residents to join in remembering and mourning the lives lost due to the epidemic for the executive emergency. 2024-180, a resolution declaring the month of August 2024 as National Immunization Awareness Month, recognizing the individual and community benefits of receiving immunizations for the executive emergency. 2024-181, a resolution declaring the month of August 2024 as Child Support Awareness Month in Summit County, recognizing that child support is crucial to keeping children and families healthy and strong, and encouraging the residents of Summit County to join in this acknowledgement and to wear green on Wednesday, August 7, 2024 for the prosecutor and the executive emergency. 2024-182, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control, subject to the approval of the Information Technology Board of Change Order Number 1 to a purchase contract with Data Cloud Solutions, A. Woolpert Company, as a best practical source for mobile assessor hardware and software to enable fiscal office appraisers to digitally reappraise real property in real time for a term from 4/8/22 through 12/31/28, and in an amount not to exceed $345,439.54 for a cumulative increase of 50.8% for a total amount not to exceed $1,025,385.78 for the fiscal officer and the Office of Information Technology emergency. 2024-183, a resolution determining to proceed with the submission to the voters of the County of Summit the question of the renewal of an existing tax levy for the operation of Summit County Children's Services established under Chapter 5153 of the Revised Code for the support of children's services and the care and placement of children for the Summit County Children's Services Board emergency. 2024-184, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute any documents necessary to accept an award from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources of a 2024 Marine Patrol Assistance Grant for the calendar year ending 12/31/24 in the amount of $32,697.37 with a local cash match requirement of $10,899.12 for a program total of $43,596.49 for the sheriff emergency. (2024-185), a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a professional service contract with MCM Consulting Group, Incorporated for continued assessment, strategic plan development, and consulting services in developing the Summit County Public Safety Fiber and Communications Network in an amount not to exceed $442,945.23 for the executive emergency.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2024-185 on the suspension. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 8 through 10.
I have a motion to suspend and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 8 through 10 on the suspension. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? On the adoption, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And if there's no further business, we're adjourned.